Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WiseGuyRadio. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. That's at www.audibletrial.com, AUDIBLETRIAL.com/WiseGuyRadio. This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. Hey, que pasa, amigas and amigos, fellow lampworkers, enthusiasts, and smoke shops around the industry. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 27. Today we have a special guest, Will Young, who is the producer of a fun episodic show weekly called TorchTalk. It's their show on YouTube's called TorchTalk Tuesday. And Will has been blowing glass now himself personally for just a little bit over a year and a half. And himself and another glass artist named Mike Mason, who is around the same skill level, were doing some online video working stuff with Dustin Revere, and the two of them together decided it would be fun if they took this concept together and brought a couple other artists on board and started a weekly YouTube show that they call TorchTalk Tuesdays, which airs from 7 to 10-ish Central Time. And what's cool with these guys is that they are all about bringing on the guys that don't know, well, guys and gals, I should say, that do not know really much about what they're doing or are experimenting or learning, but also they'd like to have on the OGs guys, people like myself who've been doing this for 15, 10, 12 years, whatever, to really bring a whole different level of skill set in between the novice, amateur, hobbyist to the professionals. And I have found that over their episodes, not only have their shows gotten better and better like anything else that we do in life, but also they are super informative. And they talk about industry things coming up. They just kind of sit and bullshit. I mean, more or less, it's like you want to blow some glass with some people, turn their show on in your studio, and you can literally be in your studio on Tuesdays from 7 to 10 Central Time, working in your studio live with these guys, learning and working alongside with them as they're working. So today is Will Young, and again, he is the producer of the show. He's also an amateur astronomer, self-proclaimed astrophysicist, and is also a musician and enjoys the hell out of coffee. He's also married, and his wife is an author, which we do discuss in this show because he said a couple things that caught my attention, and I had to bring it up. So it's pretty fun to talk about that. And also, in some future episodes, I'm going to be bringing on some couples that are glass artists together, but also I'm going to be bringing on women and men who have a partner who are glass artists. That aren't necessarily artists themselves, and maybe they are in some other way, but not in glass artists, to kind of see about relational side of what it is to be a glass artist. Just kind of a little side note there. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. This week has been all about those out there, including myself, that are educating our community, starting off with Monday's episode with Shane and his Glass Knowledge. It's at Glass Knowledge Instagram page, and he's going to be a weekly contributor to the show. Including those that come on the show as a glass artist guest. He will be putting a post on the Instagram page with some pictures and a little background on them as well with their bio. And then we have a couple things in the works that we are going to be doing and announcing here in the next month or so as we get the website up and running. I do apologize on the website. It is kind of a slow go right now. We are basically overloaded with the show and glass, and Xavier himself is in the same boat. We've all been flooded, and not to mention the fact that I'm still in this whole transition of a new studio. Even though we are working and getting stuff done, it's still a shitload of work to be done. So hopefully here, now that school's starting, I will be able to get myself back on track and function as a normal human being, if that's possible, even though I am far from normal. Okay, so now that I've said all that shit, it's time to get on with the show, ladies and gentlemen. So here is our special guest today, Will Young. What's going on, Will? How the hell are you, brother?
I am fantastic, man. How are you?
I am awesome. Sweating my ass off like always because I'm in Florida, but you're in Texas, so you understand.
I understand, man. It's been insanely hot here lately, but we've been getting a break. There's been some showers, so it's been kind of nice. So
Yeah, we actually are glad we got heat because we've had, I think, 43 inches of rain in the past 3 months, something like that.
wow.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So
That's
now we have a new tropical storm that just developed that they're saying will be the first hurricane of the season. So hooray, Florida!
Oh, good. Well, hopefully it'll stay off the coast and just go up north like they're supposed to. But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So you are the, I guess, curator, moderator, producer of TorchTalk. For those who do not know who TorchTalk or what TorchTalk is a group that got together. A couple guys started after some Dustin Revere stuff they were doing on YouTube, and you can find them on Facebook. They have a Facebook group called TorchTalk. They are now at 2,000 members, which is freaking amazing. And for me personally, it's my favorite glass group that I go to on Facebook out of the hundreds of and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Facebook glass groups that are out there. This is the best. So those that have not been there yet, please get on there ASAP and come join the fun because there's no horse shit and it's all real talk. So before we get into the Torch Talk background anymore, bro, let's go into your story and how you got into glass and what you're all about.
Yeah, man. Thanks, dude. I started glass about a year and a half ago. I'm almost 2 years in now. I was just walked out on my job. I said, screw you, you're cool, I'm out. And I was looking for something to do, man. And I'm a creative guy, I do music and that kind of thing. And so I love art in all forms. And I was on Netflix and come past this degenerate art video, and I say, ooh, what's this? I love glass, because I was holding some at the time. I was contemplating all this for various reasons, but I watched this documentary, and halfway through, I'm like standing up, just like, oh my God, this is it, and here we are a year and a half later, almost 2 years. I started getting my equipment as everyone does, going online, doing research and trying to find the best way through the kiln situation, the best way through the torch situation. And, and here I am, man. And it's been great. And like you said, through the Revere videos classes he was offering, took those about 6 months into my blowing career, if you will. And he just helped me so much, man, skyrocketed my learning. And through those classes, Mike and I and some of the others that started TorchTalk started, TorchTalk. And here we are now. So it's been an incredible journey, man. I've got so much to learn, but TorchTalk and Dustin and even your show especially has just helped me grow a lot, because different minds think about different things in different ways, and it's great to hear a lot of those inputs. So it's been great, man. It's been absolutely wonderful.
So now that you talked about the actual beginnings, how about you give us some insight onto the Torch Talk Tuesday YouTube channel that you guys have going on?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, which translates to 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We do a live show, and we talk glass, man. We do demos a lot. Mike Mason is there basically every week with one or two demos to show the kids, and to show me, because usually it's something that I've maybe seen before, but maybe not seen this particular way. And you know how it is when you have one instructor doing one thing and another instructor across the world could show the exact same technique and show it completely differently. You're going to get two different things from those two teachers. And so for me, man, it's been almost like TorchTalk University, because every time I'm there, I'm soaking in so much, man, and there's just so much going on. And it's just been an incredible thing. And like I said, Mike brings it to the table every week, solid material and great conversation. We have a bunch of people that follow the show, like in our chat rooms, that are super cool cats, all really positive, friendly people that are just wanting to learn more about glass. And that's what we're all about, man, is whether you've been blowing glass for 5 days or 5 years or 50 years, you can come and be a part of this group and teach or absorb or just hang out and enjoy. As long as you're cool and everybody's chill, we're fine with it, and it's been a great place, man. It really has been. A lot of positive has come from it, and there's more to come for sure. So
yeah, man, that's too. I've tried finding the chat rooms, and so how do you get onto the chat rooms themselves? Because I haven't been able to find them.
Well, the chat room is proprietary to every show, and it only exists as long as the show is live. So what we do is every Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon before the show, I go and post a link from our YouTube, into our Facebook, and you can either subscribe to the YouTube and follow us that way, and it'll give you a notification. Or you can come into the TorchTalk group, and every Tuesday we'll post a link there. You just follow that, and that takes you to the live feed, and that's where you can grab the chat room and get in there and chat with us. And like for tonight, for instance, we're having our 2,000 member on Facebook giveaway. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a bunch of trivia questions, all glass-centric, essentially, with a little bit of give here and there, whatever. Mm-hmm. And we got some fun ones. And the people that are there watching live are the ones that are going to get rewarded with the prizes that have been donated. And so we have several questions tonight. I think we have something like 20-something things to give away.
Wow.
It's going to be an incredible episode, man, for just the giving of tools and glass and this and that. So, but you can get into the chat room there, and you can ask questions in real time. There's about a 30-second delay or so. So between the time that you ask your question and the time that I'll eventually get to like read it pop up on the screen, or you'll see the feed change, whatever. So there's technological things here and there that we've worked through over the time and gotten used to, and it works really well though, man. It's a great place for people to come and ask beginner questions or intermediate questions, and like if we don't have the answer, we'll admit it and we'll get the answer for you. We know a lot of cool people because of this medium, and we have a lot of really cool and really great people that want to help out and help the newbie and help the intermediate or help the advanced. We're all in the same boat. We all are artists blowing glass, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing.
Hell yeah, dude. I agree. Yeah, I think what you guys got going on is an awesome thing. It's
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very informative, and the fact that you guys like have such a diverse group of guys that do the show, and then you bring guests on every week, someone different coming in to share the advice and have fun at the party in a sense. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, and we've had some really great luck with people like Doghouse Glass. Bob coming over, and I don't exactly remember how he found us, but I think I added him into the group, and I had no idea who it was, so I clicked on his thing, and I'm like looking through his work, and I'm like, oh my God, who is this guy? And he turned out to be an incredible friend, asset to the show, an incredible guy all the way around. If you're not familiar with Bob's work, you need to go on Instagram or Facebook and check out his stuff. Stand-up guy, great glass work, really solid. I love it. And it's people like him and all the people that have come on this show. There's so many. I don't want to single anyone out or miss anyone, mm-hmm. But you can go through the repertoire of like 40 some odd episodes that we have and check out these guys' work while they're working it. And that's an incredible thing, man. So it's really cool how the technology has allowed us to do even what we're doing here. Yeah. We're doing an interview from multiple states away. I love it. It's a great thing, and it's going to help us all grow. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I agree, dude. And what's cool too with the YouTube deal is that the older shows are archived. So it's like they're always going to be there for the most part. As long as YouTube allows them to be.
Yeah, and we'll leave them up as long as YouTube, allows it. As long as we're not violating any copyright things or anything like that. We try to keep all the music out of it because YouTube looks for that and flags it, of course. Mm-hmm. And so there may be intro things here and there eventually on the show, but right now we're just trying to kind of keep it simple, have fun. It's not anything that we're trying to overdo or get to grow too fast. We've grown very organically. And I love that, and that's the way we kind of want to keep it for sure.
Yeah, it seems like with this industry in general, it's easy to grow organically with, the community on Instagram alone. I'd be curious to really see like if you were to make a pie chart and see like Instagram communities and like the bigger ones, and it really seems like the glass community, it's pretty damn big. You know,
it's huge.
It's amazing.
It's huge.
I mean,
Yeah.
Joe P's doing a freaking 100,000 follower giveaway. I mean, that right there alone says like, holy shit, that fucker's got 100,000 followers almost.
Wow, I mean, that's insane. That's incredible. You see movie stars sometimes with less than that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's incredible because that's not just other glass blowers following him, right? It's glass aficionados or connoisseurs or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But they're totally into his work so much that they're willing to, you know, subscribe to his feed and let him spam them in a sense.
Exactly.
But it's good spam, right? You know, it's great stuff. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I follow, like Sagan Glass is one of my inspirations. You know, he just because he's in the space thing, and so am I, right? And he does incredible work, and it's always refreshing to me to see those guys do really well. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you want to give us a little bit of background on your space exploration per se?
Yeah, well, I'm an amateur astronomer. I do it as a hobby. I always have since I was about 10 years old, 9 or 10, whatever. It's been an obsession of mine. And as I got into glass, you know, I was like, there's a lot of space scene stuff out there, and I really gravitated towards it. And what I wanted to add to the palette of all the space stuff was bring a little bit of realism in there, especially with like my planets and like Jupiter, Saturn, whatever. Star cluster pendants that I do. You know, I really enjoy the realism in space because I look at that stuff regularly and through telescopes and this and that. And yeah, man, it's really cool that it's really kind of poetic that the mirrors we use in telescopes are made of borosilicate.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so it kind of came full circle for me in that respect. And I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. And so I've started making glass telescope sculptures. And things like that, built more for the amateur astronomer that knows their telescope well. Obviously, these aren't functioning; they're just desk art or whatever. But it's for that guy that, you know, misses being out in the dark, and maybe they're at work and they have something on their desk or something, and it's, you know, people seem to dig it. And I've won art contests at star parties with that stuff before, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's awesome.
I beat some badass paintings and drawings, so, you know, hey, it's all good, man. But the space thing for me, the science thing, if anyone that knows me knows that I'm ate up with science and astronomy. So that's obviously anything you're that passionate about, it's going to make its way into your art and your work, and you know, like that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's cool to see. Like, it seems, which I've talked about in other episodes, like the whole way to really grow yourself as an artist in this industry to get known is to find a niche or a gimmick, almost, if you want to call it that, that's like your signature.
Yeah,
like
your owls, or coils, the monkeys, and the bananas and things like that. Robert Mickelson's bullets, you know. Absolutely, man, you're 100% on that, and that's the tricky part, isn't it?
It is, honestly. Yeah, it's like, I wasn't really sure where I was going to take mine because, like, I've always been influenced by the sea and the ocean and being in Florida my whole life. So I started off doing a lot of sea life stuff. But then, like, this one little silly owl that came from a custom order at Disney that blew up into this thing on Instagram that then turned into a brand that I have now. It's a freaking corporation almost, in a sense. You know, it's like it's weird. Yeah, the Wise Guy Empire. There you go.
Owl Empire.
You know, I've been actually wanting to use the term parliament because a flock of owls is called a parliament.
Oh,
and
wow.
There's another I can't think of their name off the top of my head, but another glass company that has an owl for their logo that makes water pipes, and they refer to their thing as their group as like the parliament. You know, so I kind of stayed away from that name because of the political kind of side of what the term's used for at times. So but I think it's still interesting that, you know, a parliament is supposed to be a group of wise people.
Ironic, maybe.
Yeah, completely. That still wear wigs over in Europe. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, which is a little strange.
So anybody listening to this in Europe, please don't take offense to that. I just find it funny.
No, we love our European.
Yeah. I'm not peeing, you're peeing.
Don't, I was a little bit there.
Yeah, whatever. So have you guys in TorchTalk, have you guys actually gotten together in person and blown glass together yet?
No, I've never met Mike Mason in person. I've only like maybe Bob. Um, my wife was doing a book signing in San Francisco, and so I was like, "Well, you can do that. I'm gonna take the rental." And I drove out to Modesto, along to as well to Berkeley to Dustin's studio as well. And I shot half of it on the Torch over there while I was there, and we ended up running out of time because I was there for such a short time. But I'll finish that video off maybe one of these days, next year beginning or so. But yeah, I went out and met Bob and Dustin, and got to do a collab with Bob. It was pretty rad. We did a pretty interesting water pipe, and had some of my DNA strands that I make in there and some of the space vibe that I do, and it had his touch of definitely like the Illuminati sections and some really nice honeycombs. And yeah, it's a beautiful piece, man. It's I think it's still available if anybody's interested in it. Go get it with Dog.
Hell yeah. So I got to back up a little bit. So you said wife and book signing in the same sentence. So how does that come about?
Yeah, she's on top of like working at a Fortune 500 company or whatever. She is a self-published author, and been so for about a little over a year now. And she just tallied her book sales and giveaways and stuff. It's at 70,000. And she's done that all on her own.
That's awesome.
She's incredible. She's really dedicated, and really really good at what she does. And people love her books. She writes in that adult contemporary erotica format.
Nice. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a little fun, and she does a lot of good stuff there. And she was there doing her thing, and we've been able to travel like across the country doing book signings with her. And so I've got to see some really cool places with her, of course, going, and got to spread some glass knowledge here and there when I could. Mostly absorbed glass knowledge wherever I went.
Yeah, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, dude, it's been really cool. She's doing a really good thing, man. And it's only going to take one book, and she'll be right up there with the rest of them. So she's well on her way.
Rad. Does she have an audiobook version yet?
She does have one out, yeah, for one of her books. And she has plans to do more. But since I own a recording studio, in a sense, we're going to do a lot of that work here. And I'm actually working on a rock album to go along with one of her new books. It's about a rock band, about a band of brothers or whatever, that each band member gets their own book, right? And so each book gets 3 songs, and at the end, those 3 songs get compiled into an album. And so I'm about 75% done writing the first 3 songs, and
nice.
Got to do a little bit more guitar work and some lyrics. And yeah, so it's kind of like it's like a team effort here over at the Young House, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And this also gives me a chance to put in a plug for my sponsor, Audible.com. And if you guys want to get a free 30-day trial for an audiobook, you can go to I'm having a brain fart. audiobooktrial.com/wiseguy radio.
Sweet.
There you go. Maybe you should have her book on there.
Yeah, Audible's great, man. I love Audible. I get books from them a lot, and it's great for like glowing glass. Just sitting there listening to an audiobook. You're learning and you're burning, I guess.
Have you been listening to the book that I'm doing this month for the show?
I don't think I've caught it, man. Like I said, I'm kind of behind on the podcast game. I've got several Star Talks to listen to as well. So
yeah, I hear you. Well, last week I started. I was trying to think about things because I did my 30-day deal, with the penance, of a day type thing, and to keep along with the whole educating routine deal, I decided to start doing an audiobook club every month and doing a different book that has to do with business or personal life or whatever. And so the book of this month is called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, and it takes the whole concept of being it takes your the business idea and breaks it into 3 areas, which is the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. And the technician is us, the glass artists, and then we also have to be able to be an entrepreneur who dreams and thinks bigger and how we can grow ourselves. But then also the manager to be able to pay your bills. So this book really gets into the whole concepts of like different stages of how a business grows from an infancy stage to adolescent to a mature business, and how you can go through, scale your business, bring in employees if you need to. Fortunately, though, with the glass business, it's easy to keep it simple, because we don't have a whole lot going on. I mean, you can have like a whole fucking warehouse with 25 people working in there and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it can be really big if you want, but individually as like a solopreneur or an artistic entrepreneur, it's easy to keep it simple. But this book really puts in the perspective of getting your head together, knowing that you can't just be a glass blower. You got to be able to do your books and pay your taxes and order glass and pay your bills. And so I broke the book up, and it's kind of weird because the audiobooks, when I first got the audiobook, this one, it said there were 7 chapters. I'm like, cool, that's like 2-3 chapters a week. But in all reality, there's like 21 chapters in the book. There's 7 audio chapters. So when I did my first episode, I said, yeah, we'll do chapters 1 through 3, which actually was like 4 chapters, I think, in all reality. I don't know. So anyways, yeah, so I got lots of listening to do.
That kind of stuff is really important for glass artists, especially because I've heard you say it on your show a lot. We get so focused on perfecting our craft, right? Our skill sets, that we forget all this other really important stuff. And if we don't have somebody there, telling us that we need to be thinking about that, getting your taxes stuff together, pay your taxes, kids, because they'll come for you. Yeah. They will. And you ain't going to be blowing glass much longer after that. Or you might be to try to pay the bills that they're going to throw at you.
Exactly.
So you want to do that, man. And, it makes us as a community look better. It makes, the culture, if you want to even go that far, look better. And it makes it makes your life easier. It's you have to get into the groove of doing this stuff. It's always hard to do stuff the first time, right? But once you get into the groove of it, and books like that, information like that is invaluable. So that's awesome, man. That's great stuff.
Right on. Yeah, man. It's I find that as our community grows and it comes from being like in the closet per se and out into like the public eye, where people are seeing the amount of money that's being spent on these high-end pieces, the government, in a sense, is going to become aware of this as well. So, it is important because we can't hide for that long. I mean, it's definitely coming to the forefront in the culture of our country, even as this not pop culture, but as an artistic culture that is actually becoming very affluent because of the industry that we're in.
Yeah, and the demand for what we make. Even if it's a non-functional, let's just go even that far. The demand for what we make for non-functionals is there.
Yeah, I agree.
If your art catches someone's eye, they're going to get it if they've got the means to do so.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the glass art in general is definitely in a renaissance, and, I don't see it going away anytime soon. When Chihuly came over from going to Italy and doing his apprenticeship over there and then came back and, like, spilled the beans to everybody and started the whole home studio movement, in a sense, it really started this whole new renaissance, if you want to use that term again, for glass in this country. And it's pretty amazing. Just the hordes of people alone that went to Seattle and those areas up there in the the Northwest, where it's a little cooler and what have you, to make glass for a living and be successful at it. It's interesting to where we are now, 40 years later or whatever, and it's bigger than it's ever been.
Yeah, and it's a baby industry, man. We are barely reaching out of the crib.
Yeah, I agree.
We've got a long way to go, and there's growing pains. And a lot of those cats in California felt that during the Operation Pipe Dream thing. They felt those growing pains of the culture of this or that pushing against their culture.
Yep.
And
we felt it here in Florida.
Yeah. Oh no, I was about to say that because you guys, for a while there, couldn't even sell corncob pipes, from what I understand, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah, they were trying to make pipes across the board illegal here completely, and it was being done by a guy who's a congressman in Florida, former revived crackhead that now has his his guns pointed at the wrong places.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the way it's going to go usually. And there's always a political agenda too, man. And that's unfortunate for you guys. But hopefully or luckily it's gone to the wayside and you guys can resume business as usual because, those East Coast workers, are part of us. We should all feel the pains of each other's problems, whether our state decides to clamp down or not. But, it's crazy.
Yeah, how's it in Texas? Like, I know, being a semi-conservative state, but they're also kind of like very liberal too. It's kind of a strange state.
It's very strange, man. All the major cities in Texas have swung into the blue. That's the way it is. If you look at the polls, that's reality. And in that reality, a place like Austin, for instance, where our capital is, I mean, essentially, if you catch a cop on the right day, you can toke up in front of them. If you catch him on the wrong day, you're going to jail for 3.5 months or something crazy for a joint, you know. But it's like the pipe culture is it's fairly taboo in that immediately people assume this or that, and you know, and maybe that's just part of it. But you know, I've noticed a change in the shift. And if Facebook is any indicator of the news threads around here, when it comes to a political or a social issue, I get what I expect. However, when I look at a cannabis or legalization issue, I see a change. Even in those people that would maybe have swung one way on an issue, they're right with us on the issue of that, and it boggles my mind, you know. But we kind of have the wrong person in office right now. He's not really going to do the things that we need to do for that culture to come about. So it'll be several years, but I don't think we'll ever see the prohibition of pipe related materials, because that's a thriving industry here in Texas. As you know, some of the best glass blowers in the world that probably, you know, work here. Yeah. So, you know, the top 50 anyway, or some of the top 50 reside here in Texas. And there's a lot of guys in Texas that are great nobody's ever heard of either. Yeah. It's a big place. It's a really big place. But yeah, you know, I don't run into too much of a stigma. I don't run into too much of an issue. Everything, you know, it's pretty good. It's not bad. So. Hell yeah.
So what's your home studio setup like?
I've got a behind my house. I've got a small, I think it's maybe a 15 by 20 aluminum shed that has been on this property for several decades, probably since the 90s. And it's still in good shape. I had to rebuild it when I started working on it, but I resurrected it from eventual destruction, I think, and turned it into a studio. And I've done several table setups. Since I kind of went in there. I did a center of the room table thing with an overhead vent, and that really didn't work out too well. So now I'm against the wall with more of a barley box setup, which is what you'd see like a chemist using for a vent hood system if they're doing something really toxic. And that just really helps keep the air flowing from behind me out into the vent, because ventilation, we all know, is like paramount. Yeah. And I have a 1,000 CFM fan that empties the room in less than 2 minutes every 2 minutes. And so I've watched bubble trash go away from my face. I know I'm good. Yeah, it's great, man. I have a good Kilmo Paragon F130 and a Nortel Red Max. I'll probably be on that torch for a long, long while. I really enjoy it, but it's a good setup, man. It's my own little space. It's like almost like a little man cave, like a little man lab, if you will. Yeah. And I can go out there and turn on a podcast like yours or Star Talk or whatever, and just go and rage, you know. And then my house is just about 50 feet away. So yeah, nice. It's great, man. It's a short commute to work for sure.
Yeah, it's nice, man. I've gone from my hour-and-a-half drive one way to Disney, so it's 3 hours round trip, to then in my garage, to now I'm about 20 minutes away. We just got a new 1,200 square foot warehouse space.
I saw that, man. Congratulations on that, dude. I've been watching your posts on Instagram, man, checking out their build and all that. It's very cool.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Yeah, it's exciting. It's the first time I've had my own space before, but it's the first time that I can share. It's my own space, but I'm sharing it with 3 other guys that I love to death, and it's really cool to have the energy. Like, I was last week, I wanted to do some segments on the shows about us building the studio and us powwow, but it was like there was really nothing to talk about, because we all drew a couple pictures, we all agreed on it 100% and said, let's fucking do this. Yeah. And we went up in 2 days. I mean, literally, we were benches up, ventilation somewhat in, enough to work, and then boom, we were torches on. And now we're actually getting HVAC system all actually put in, so we all have our own little hood, set up in front of us. And It's going to be fun, man. I'm excited about it. It's the long-term goal is to be able to bring other people in as well, guest artists and have you. I have my assistant now who's going to start doing glass work in about a month and a half. And then, like, my daughter wants to get into it, and I've got space for my wife to come in and do her artwork and paint and stuff. And I can eventually we're going to expand and put, like, a hexagonal type shaped table in the middle of the space and have people come in for classes. You know, we're going to do a little gallery setup in there. But it's cool because it's set up for, like, when I signed the lease, we signed it as a storage facility, so the landlord's like, whatever you want to do it, just do it within code, more or less. So
beautiful, man. Yeah, that's nice. The HV system will definitely help out, you know, and that's something that I've been looking into eventually. But yeah, dude, that's amazing, man. You got like a little art hub kind of, you know, budding right there, and eventually it's going to become this amazing place where people go to learn this incredible art, man. That's awesome. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm eventually going to build some kind of setup in there for my studio for the recording the shows, so that way I'm not sweating my nuts off out in my garage.
Yeah, and you can have a little permanent thing where you can go in, you know, and have everything where you want it. That's key. If, like, you're a glass artist, right? We all have a place to go. Imagine, you know, being a glass artist and having to set up your torch and your table and everything every time. It would be quite a pain in the ass. So it's nice, isn't it, to have a place to go and do that thing. So yeah, man, very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about it for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
So you want to get into our lightning round?
Yeah, man, I love the lightning round. It's like one of my favorite things.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, let's get into the lightning round. And the lightning round consists of a couple questions here. You can give me a 30 to 60 second answer, and we can expound upon those if you'd like. And since you've heard the shows a couple times, you kind of know what's coming up, but I will ask you anyways. So if you could work with any living glass artist that you had not worked with yet before, who is it and why?
Oh, man. Whew, that's a deep one. There's so many. Mike Mason, Dustin Feuerbach, you know, there's so many. Sagan. I left out so many, but that's my second answer anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like I hate just like, you know, pinpointing to one particular person, but we all have our inspirations and stuff too, so it's kind of fun to, you know, to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, yeah, we had a little lag.
So, let me try. I don't have the questions in front of me, so I'm thinking of the second question.
Lightning struck.
Yes, it did. At your house?
No.
Oh, just in general? Yeah, it'll be striking in the background. Actually, kind of a real quick side note. Saturday, we had a really bad, like, built up over my neighborhood, probably like maybe about 30 square blocks area here. We had a bad thunderstorm blow up, and I'm like 6 blocks from the Gulf, and it literally rained for 45 minutes. It didn't move. I looked at the radar, and there was 175 lightning strikes in 25 minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, it was fucking crazy. But I put my recorder out here, my digital recorder, and recorded like 40 minutes of lightning storms and shit.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, bro. So it was like, and it's actually, I was really surprised with how well it recorded it. So I did some compression and like really made it sound clean. Like, so it doesn't sound like you're frying eggs, you know. It's actually like raindrops, you know. Mm-hmm. And I've been using someone else's sound that I found for free online, so now I can actually have my own recordings for my background noise for the lightning round.
That's beautiful, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool shit.
I love it.
Hell yeah, dude. So, what are your top 5 favorite colors?
Let's see. Slime. That's probably one of my favorites. Can I say clear?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's weird, but I love clear. It just epitomizes glass to me. IO Star. Mm-hmm. Really love that. Opaque Aqua. That's in every one of my DNAs that I do. And I'll go ahead and be trendy and throw in Illuminati or some shit like that.
Hey, it works.
I love the glow, though, man. I love the glow, so it's cool.
Yeah, I've got some branding projects I'm working on right now to go along with the whole glow deal, because I think the future of the kids are going to be having their dab rooms all set up to be all trippy and glowing and UV, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, that's where it's going, it looks like, but, you know, that's why we got to adapt and overcome.
Yep, exactly. Not bitch about prices being so high, just raise your prices.
Yep, that's right.
So, are you a TV, a radio, or both in the studio?
Definitely a radio only. Visual distraction would be bad for me because I'd probably end up just standing there watching it if I had a TV. So yeah, radio, because radio allows me to kind of zone in on what I'm doing and pick up information in the background. So yeah, definitely podcasts. I listen to a lot of NPR local radio and stuff like that. And so yeah, definitely radio.
Hell yeah. One podcast I always recommend is the Tim Ferriss Show.
Yeah. When I first met you, you recommended him, and I've listened to a few of them, actually. I've subscribed to him. It's good stuff.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, good show.
Really great for our type of minds, like entrepreneurial. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So what is your worst injury you've had in the studio?
Oh, luckily I've been lucky, man. I guess it's a little redundant.
Hey, it's okay.
I have been very, very fortunate. Probably like a sliced finger or something that wouldn't stop bleeding was probably my most annoying one. I've never had anything where I had to go to the hospital, and so that's been nice. But yeah, definitely the bloody finger that you can't get to seal up, and so you just wrap like paper towel around it and electrical tape, and then keep going. That's it's definitely happened a couple of times. But yeah, cuts and burns, man, are gonna happen, dude. We all know this, and but luckily, everything's been pretty good. So.
Cool. I hope by me asking this question, it doesn't jinx everybody that I ask.
Right.
I would hate that.
Superstition, though, so you're good. I'm a skeptic.
Hell yeah! And on that same note, it's like there's nothing worse than rotating a punty that's sticky because it's got blood all over it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Or, because whatever finger you cut is now going to be weird the rest of the night, and. Sometimes those injuries lead to closing her down for the evening and going back tomorrow. But that happens.
Yep, it does. So the last and final question of the lightning round is a fun one. So if you were stranded on an island and all you had in front of you was a studio that had a kiln and a torch and gases, what 5 items would you bring?
5 items. Let's see. I think... glasses, because I listen to the show.
Attaboy.
But no, you want to have your own glasses, man. You don't want to be wearing some grungy stuff some weird Islander's been wearing for the last 10 years. I'd probably bring, like, some good tweezers, for sure. A flat paddle graphite pad, like with a handle. Does the torch have an L marver or no? Gotta have an L marver, so that's 4. Okay. And I'd probably bring some male joints or female joints. Maybe if I can bring a dozen of each, if that's okay. Yeah, because I gotta make some rigs. So.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, and the last but not least, if you have any parting piece of advice for any new glass artists out there, or even established OGs as well,
Yeah, man. Just keep melting, stay positive about it, try to find some inspiration in reality around you. Open your mind up to new possibilities and new forms. If you're a beginner, don't just stick with the same old spoon for too much. Explore, branch out and have fun. Don't get stuck in a rut because, glass, you can get stuck in making these production pieces and kind of by the end of it, you're done with it. But just go explore something new and, go explore a new form or a new thing you've never done, and it may transform your whole game, and you may have that thirst and that drive again. And so yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, brother, because this whole week's been all about the community that we have, that of those of us out there that are helping educate the community in a sense. So it's cool to have you on and have Shane on Monday and really kind of bring these different formats and these different outlets and I guess media outlets or what have you, social media wise. Just we're all taking advantage of this technology, because when I started this shit, man, there wasn't even YouTube. I mean, Shane was in Korea, dude, when I did our Skype interview. So I mean, that alone says like where things have gone in the past 20 years. It's amazing. Yeah,
and where it's going to go from here is almost unknowable, because there's so many different ways it could go. Yeah, it's incredible, man. And, thanks for having me on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in the TorchTalk group, and you've been nothing but kind and helpful. And that's what we want in the group, is those kind of people. And so thanks for being a part of that, man. It's been hella fun so far.
Yeah, brother. And before we go, if you want to let us know how we can find you out there in cyberspace.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at setxglass. Also, setxglass.com is my website.
How do you spell that?
SETX, like Southeast Texas. It's just short. So yeah, I just shortened it to SetX because saying SETX a lot, it's a little weird.
I first thought your thing was sext. I got the T and the X backwards.
Yeah, I've had giveaways where the guy was like, "Go get this sexty glass." It's Southeast Texas, man, but that's okay. So, the day when I was looking for a name for the thing, man, it was like every name that I wanted was taken already, basically, like a band. You're trying to form a band, and you're like, "Ooh, I'll name my band the Foo Fighters." Oh, the Foo Fighters exist. Damn it! So you gotta, go through the thing. That's an extreme example, obviously, but
yeah, I get you.
But Southeast Texas, man, everybody around here labels their shit with Southeast Texas, whether it's Southeast Texas jumpyhouses.com or whatever. So I went with that. So yeah, that's where it is. So yeah, man.
Hell yeah, brother. Once again, I appreciate it, and I will see you guys on YouTube tonight because I will be tuning in. And don't forget, guys, it's Facebook group is called TorchTalk, and they do TorchTalk Tuesdays every night at 7 p.m. Central, right?
7 p.m. Central, that's right.
Beautiful.
Yep.
All right, homeboy. Well, it's good talking to you. I'm going to go inside the AC and cool off a little bit.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate this, and I'll see you soon in the future for sure.
Sounds good, brother. Take care of yourself.
All right, man.
All right, buddy. Peace. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.